recommend to you guys is to do what I'm doing. And what I want you to do is I want you to take a piece of paper or a sticky note or a note in your phone, and I want you to list every possible objection that you could get, okay? Every possible objection. Want to think about it. Don't want to do a contract. Too expensive. Don't trust you. And some of these you're going to like write 20 of them and they're going to all fit. There's like 7 main objections. They're all going to fit into one of them. But I want you to list all of the objections, and you're going to find, like I said, no matter what you're selling, you're going to be getting the same ones. You're going to get price. You're going to get trust. You're going to get, they're always the same no matter what you're selling. Okay. So I want you to list all the objections, and specifically the objections we get in this business. Okay. Some of the ones that are the most difficult. Number one is trust. Another one that's very difficult is I got to talk to such and such a person. The reason it's so difficult is because that person is not there. And so you're literally making them make a decision to not talk to that person. Okay. And that's very difficult. Okay. It is possible. I have done it. I have been able to overcome the spouse objection, the business partner objection, because a lot of times it's a smoke screen, not a real objection, a smoke screen, which is, they're hiding the real objection. They're giving you some bull crap, some smoke. Okay. But that's another difficult one. So I want you to, number one is I want you to list all the objections that you think you could get or that you have gotten, but they're always the same. Okay. No matter what it is, if they say to you, hey, I want to talk to some of your current clients before I do this. Okay. That is an objection of trust, because if they trusted you and they believed that you could actually pull it off and do what you say you're going to do, then they wouldn't need to talk to them. So that's actually an objection that fits in the trust bucket. So number one, what I want you guys to do, and again, this is what I've been doing for years. This is what allowed me to scale to 7 figures from doing this business model. Write down all the objections. Step 1. Okay. Step 2 is I want you to go through each of those objections, and I want you to come up with a creative solution for how you are going to make that objection a non-factor. You are going to eliminate the objection. I'm going to give you an example, but I want you to go through every single one and think of ideas of what you can either say or what you can do to eliminate that objection. So let's talk about the spouse objection. And the spouse, partner, whoever it is, they got to talk to somebody, right? Very common objection, right? They get to the end. It's kind of like the card in the back pocket. If they feel uncomfortable, they don't want to make a decision, that they can blame it on their spouse or the dog or the goldfish or Jesus. And guys, I'm a religious dude. I say my prayers, and I'm very much that. I'm not trying to be sacrilegious in any way, but I've legitimately gotten the objection. I need to pray about it, right? And there's ways to overcome that too. Okay. But with this specific objection, here's what I do, Todd. And it's very simple. It's very easy. But what I do is before I get on a closing call, I will send a screencast, which, as you guys know, is literally a Loom or a Vimeo video, or there's a Screencast-O-Matic, these different softwares. I don't own any of them. Don't care which one you use. And I go through before, and I create this 12-ish minute video where I walk through certain things that I want to cover before we get on the call. And you know what I'm doing in this video is I'm literally banging out objections. I'm just eliminating objections, and I'm just hitting on all of them, okay? And one of the things that I do, and one of the ones I always hit on, is this one, Todd. And I say to them, also, Mr. Business Owner, Mrs. Business Owner, just to make sure on the call. And by the way, at this point, I've already asked this from the beginning, but I'll just say to them, hey, I remember when we talked, the other day, you mentioned that you have a business partner. If they are going to be somebody that needs to be in on this decision, please make sure they are on the call, or I'm going to have to reschedule. Okay. I'm not going to run the call. And it's not because I don't like you, man. Or ma'am. It's because if I give you all the information and you go to your partner, you're going to literally give that person 5% of the information and the price, and all they're going to hear is the price, and it's going to kill the deal. Okay. Even if it's the greatest solution to your problem, even if it's going to stack cash in your bank account, they're just going to hear the price. Okay. So, and I'll remind them on this video, make sure your partner's on this call, or else we're going to have to reschedule. Okay. Now, What I'll do before that is I'll find out if they actually have a partner. So somewhere in my conversing with them, whether text, whether phone call, I'll ask them, as I'm talking to them about their business. So like, is it just you? Do you have other partners? Is it like, is your wife a partner? Like, who's all in on the business? If you don't mind me asking, I'm trying to understand your business, Mr. Business Owner, because I want to see how I can best help you. And if they tell me, hey, I got a partner, I'm going to write that down and make a little note that that person is going to need to be on the call or it's going to kill the deal. Okay. So I bring it up there, and I'll bring it up when I actually set the appointment. Even before that, is I'll say, okay, how does 12 o'clock tomorrow sound? I'm going to send you a Zoom link, blah, 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 blah. By the way, you mentioned you had a partner. I think you said his name was Steve. Can you please make sure Steve's on the call? If not, we're going to make sure this time works for him or for her, because I don't want to waste my time and your time. And if they're not on there, it's going to be a waste of time. Okay. I'm not a high pressure dude. Don't worry about that. But I want you guys to have all the information. So if they're not on it, we're going to have to reschedule. So can you verify that they can be on the call? That's all you got to say. That's all you have to say. And then if you send out a reminder text about that meeting, you can bring it up again and say, is just making sure we're good for, in 4 hours at 12. And you and Steve are both good. You're both going to be on the call, right? Yep. Boom. Done. Okay. You just eliminated the objection because you made sure that the spouse was actually at the call. And you do this with every single objection. Okay. Every single one. I do the same thing for price. What I do is on that video that I send before that screencast, I run them through a calculator, which is a calculator that Shiv, I think, is the one that built the lead value calculator. I pull it up and I show them some numbers and I price anchor. I have them believing that this thing's going to be $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month if I'm going to charge $1,500. If I'm going to charge $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month, I'm going to have them believing it's 10. I'm going to price anchor super high on the screencast. And when I get on the call, the whole time, I'm going to be price anchored. I'm going to have it in their head. They're going to be thinking by the time I get to price, I'm about to hit them with 10 bands a month right across the face. Okay. And then when I tell them it's $1,500 a month, it's a no-brainer. You do it with every single objection. Let me give you one more example. Who here has gotten the I want to think about it objection? Yeah, this sounds great. You did a great presentation. So let me think about it. Hey, by the way, I'm in. I'm like 90% of the way there, because you guys are going to love this if you've got sales experience. I'm in. You've sold me. You did a great job. By the way, great presentation. Okay. But I'm going to think about it. I have this 24-hour rule that I just personally do, that I don't make decisions in 24 hours. It's just what I do. It's just who I am. Right? You hear this all the time, like you and everybody else, dude. Okay. I heard this so many times. I was sick of hearing this. Okay. But you're going to hear this. They're like, I just need to sleep on it, or I need to think about it, or I need to chew on it, or I need to mull it over, or I need to, there's all these different verbs. It's hilarious. Okay. It's all the same thing. Want to think about it. Guess who doesn't get, I want to think about it? You know how long it's been since I've gotten I want to think about it? I don't even remember the last time. Okay. Here's why. In that same video, that same screencast that I do, that I send them, that they have to watch before our call. I send it, a couple hours before. I say, watch this in preparation. Make sure you watch it. And I can go and make sure they watch it. I can see if they viewed it. In that video, I let them know. I'm very tactful about my verbiage. Again, I cover all this inside of my training. So I'm not going to be able to go. I don't want to confuse you guys. And I don't have time to go into exact verbiage. But I tactfully let them know that by the end of this call, I am going to expect a decision. And I don't say it exactly like that all the time. However, there are times when the other person is kind of giving me a little bit of heat and I'm mirroring them and I'm bringing that same energy, and I will just hit them across the face and say, hey, at the end of this thing, all I ask is that you don't leave me in the whole, I got to think about it zone, and you man up and you give me a decision. And I won't say you man up to a woman. I won't say you man up to everyone. I give it to the guy who thinks he's tough. And I'll say you man up and you give me a decision, right? But I will let them know that I expect the decision at the end of the call. And then if that's going to be a problem, I need to know right now, okay? Because I've got other people that I'm talking to. I've got other businesses that are interested. And I want to work with the person that's ready to move and the person that's ready to go make money, okay? And if that's you, Mrs. Business Owner, Mr. Business Owner, great. If it's somebody else, I got, your money spends the same as Steve's and spends the same as Jill's. I don't care. It all spends the same. I want to work with the person that's ready to move. Okay. I don't get that objection. I don't, because they know when they get on the call that I'm going to expect a decision. And in the rare case that I do, I call them out and I say, I think I heard you wrong. Like I told you in the video and you knew, like, and I'll go and I'm like, no, that's not how this works. Okay. That's not how this works. There's no, I want to think about it. If you want to think about it, this is a no. I'm going to make the decision right now. And this is a whole separate training of this. But if you need to think about it after you telling me that you would be good to make a decision, after all that I've done, after the 3 leads that I've given you, after I've shown you this, and this, after I've shown you the numbers, if you still are saying you need to think about it, I'm going to make the decision for you, Steph. This isn't a good fit. Okay. It just isn't. And I don't want to be rude, but like, if you have to think about this is a no-brainer. I don't know if this is a good fit. I just don't. So appreciate you. I'm going to respectfully retract my offer and go and find somebody else. Okay. And you're going to pull it back. Separate training. It's kind of a ballsy move, but we'll get into that in future calls. But guys, I don't get objections. I very, very, very rarely get objections, but it's because I don't look at it as I'm Mr. Overcome the objection. I'm not the Grant Cardone that says, you know, this, and this, and sign here and sign. I don't do that. I just don't get them. I'm a master of eliminating all the objections so that I can get on the call. Dude, if somebody agrees to get on a Zoom call with me on a close, it's done, because we've already done the objections, man. They already know where I stand. They already think it's 10K or 5K. I know price isn't going to be objection. They've already brought their business partner. They already know that I'm not going to let them think about it. I've done all the objection overcoming. So when everyone else is getting nervous, like I get this big sales call, dude, I wake up and I don't even have to prep for these calls. I get on and I'm just walking them through all my stuff, and I'm walking them through my script. I'm walking them through my close. And I get to the end of it and I ask for the credit card, and I'm freaking putting that in Stripe and banging that card right on the spot. Okay. If your closes are super high pressure, super tense, super stressful for you and the business owner, and you can tell when they are, you are not doing this correctly.